Hey, it's Pat.
And Carolyn.
Top 14 just performed on So You Think You Can Dance, so let's talk about it. But first, you'll see I'm by myself again. Well, kind of. Carolyn is out of town again. She takes a lot of vacations, working really hard for this vlog here. But we knew she was going to be gone, so we pre-taped some of her reactions that she normally gives. And I'm just going to go ahead and pop those in here in the vlog where they make sense, and we'll see how it turns out. So, Carolyn, are you ready? Okay, I guess I'll take that as a yes. So top 14 dancers were performing. They were each going to perform two numbers, and Katee came out at the beginning of the show looking like the fanciest penguin waitress I have ever seen.
I love Katee.
She wears the most interesting outfits. We'll say that right away. But let's get into the dancers. There's a lot of them. I'm going to go through them in the order that they dance. I'll talk about both dances at the same time. So first up, Jessica and Will. I know I kind of dog on both of them, so I really tried to sort of watch with no opinion and just kind of watch them dance. The first routine that they had was the jive, which was kind of fun. I was paying more attention to Will because I feel like I always harp on Jessica. So Will, he did a really nice job, lots of pep. Jessica, again, just didn't have the, sort of bounce and the, speed that you need, I think. She looked great, but you know how I feel about her. And then the second routine was a lyrical jazz number, which was really sexy with the dress shirt, and they were rolling around and pulling on each other, and it was really good. So Jessica, well done. I really liked that routine. Next up was the brand new couple of Comfort and Thayne, and their first routine that they did was Broadway, and man, I just didn't like it. I just felt like nothing happened. Same thing that happened with Thayne and Chelsie when they had that jazz routine where they were wearing the big collars and things like that. I felt like nothing happened for the whole time they were dancing. So it was kind of, a letdown for me. Thayne, I thought was going to be one of the front runners at first, but he's just starting to not do it for me. I think Comfort did a really nice job for what she's working with, being, a crumper, and she has no training or anything like that, but compared to everyone else, it's going to be hard for her to hang in there. And then their second routine was Smooth Waltz, and yeah, on my notes, all I wrote was ew. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. That's all I gotta say.
I don't know what they were thinking. That was disgusting. The worst.
So then we have Courtney and Matt, the 12 feet of dancers, and they did a hip hop routine, and then they did the mambo, and I think they are both probably gonna go home this week. Their hip hop routine, I know it's not their style really at all, and they're both really tall and lanky, but it just was really it looked like they weren't even trying to me, just in my opinion. And then the mambo, they tried, but they really couldn't pull it off. They didn't have that snap to it, and they both looked kind of heavy, not fat, not like their weight, but they weren't floating or zipping all over the place. So Courtney and Matt, I really like you both, but I think you might be dancing for your life this week.
Definitely not my favorite. I don't think they were that good. I think they kind of sucked, to be honest. I know you're going to hate on that, but I don't think they were very good.
Chelsie and Mark were up next, and they had two pretty good routines. Their first routine was jazz to Holly Valance, which they spelled wrong in the graphics. They put Vance, but it's Valance. I looked it up because I thought it was wrong. And that was kind of a cool routine. I didn't particularly like it. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to top the routine that they did last week because that was awesome. But it was pretty good. And then they did Foxtrot, which is Chelsea's forte. She's a ballroom dancer. And I think Mark did a really nice job keeping up with her and keeping it alive. And did anyone notice that it was a Paul Anka song, but really it was Bon Jovi? It was a remake of the Bon Jovi song. It was a little hard for me to focus on what they were doing because I was singing Bon Jovi the whole time. But I think they did really nice, and we're going to see a lot more from them in the future.
It definitely wasn't the worst, but it wasn't the best. It was okay. I mean, I've seen them do better.
Okay, my Twitch and Kerrington clip didn't work the first time. There was no sound, so I'll just redo it really quick. They were really great. They had a Paso Doble as their first routine, and then a Mia Michaels contemporary routine second, and they were both great. I mean, Twitchington is kind of unstoppable. Paso Doble was hot, the costumes looked cool, and then the Mia Michaels routine, they had this big bed, and they were rolling around on the bed, and they were throwing rose petals everywhere. I would have liked them in the contemporary. Now, it was amazing. I would have liked them to kind of move around a little bit more because I tend to like the Mia Michaels ones where they're running and jumping and smashing into each other more than laying on a bed, but it was really, really great.
So creative. I loved it.
Katie and Josh were up next, and they had a Mia Michaels routine too, and theirs I think was better. I think it was a little bit better of a routine in the first place. I love the Mia Michaels ones where they're running and they're like jumping into each other, and Katie looked like Crouching Tiger. She was like running, but he was holding her. It was really cool, and they had so much emotion and feeling. And like the judges said, even when there wasn't actual dancing happening, they were really telling you a story. So well done, guys. And then they had a West Coast swing routine choreographed by Benji, who won season 2, and it was just weird. I don't think anyone can really do West Coast swing except for Benji and his sister, who made a little cameo. The costumes were kind of weird, especially Katie's pants. So I don't know, it wasn't great. They did what they could do with it. It wasn't bad, but stick to the contemporary, much better.
It was so good. It was probably the best of the night. It was so good.
And last but not least, we had Courtney and Gev. They did a hip-hop routine at first, and it was pretty good. They were popping and locking and everything. Not that memorable. It was kind of like just a cool, funky hip-hop, but not like much of a story or anything like some of the other hip-hop routines we've seen so far. So I think people will kind of forget that as it goes on, but they did a nice job. And I was surprised Gev, though, wasn't more like hitting it more, being that he's like a breakdancer and a popper. But, what are you going to do? You can't win them all. And then they had a Broadway routine at the end, and it was like, I don't know. It was fun. The Broadway are hit and miss, and this one was kind of a miss for me. They were like running around, and Gev looked a little uncomfortable, but their costumes were cool. They really looked the part. But I think they're safe for this week because America seems to really love them. So I think Courtney and Matt are going to go home. I'm not really sure who else is going to be in the bottom. Probably Courtney and Thayne, and they could go home, or Comfort and Thayne. I always call her Courtney. There's so many Courtneys on this show. Comfort and Thayne, Courtney and Matt, and then I don't know who else will be in the bottom. We'll have to see. So let me know what you think, and I will catch you guys next week. So for me and Carolyn,
see y'all next week. I'll be back, I promise. Bye.